Everybody, welcome back to Breakfast with Bob from beautiful Edmonton, Canada. My name is Bob Babbitt. We're brought to you by Master Spas, SFuels, Go Longer, Quintana, HOKA, One, Form Smart Swim Goggles, Zoot Sports, the original triathlon brand, Premium Plus Sports, and of course our Challenged Athletes Foundation. This next guest, third at Ironman World Championship 2 times. He is Mr. David McNamee. He's brought porridge for everybody. So good to have you back.
Thank you. It's good to be back. But this is already the second time we've spoke this year. So, I think usually it's only every once a year you get to chat to Bob.
But we're already twice. And then we're gonna do Kona and we'll do all that stuff. We'll be like every week.
I like it. It's like the Bob tour.
It's like we have this every week. We chat. It's nice to catch up. Well, and everybody's still talking about when we were in St. George, and everybody's talking about how this course is brutal and it's going to be really long and it's going to take people forever. And you came in and said, listen, we're going to have 5, 6, 7 people under 8 hours, and someone's going to be sub 750, and somebody's going to run in the 230s. And we're all like, what? And that's exactly what happened. You became the predictor to the stars, man.
Yeah, I think obviously I've been in the sports, it seems like forever.
It is forever.
And yeah, it's getting there. And then, I obviously love the sport and I follow it very closely. And, I see how I've progressed over the years, but I also see how the sport's progressed, especially the last 3 or 4 years.
Yes.
And what we thought in the past was maybe impossible is very much the reality now.
Yes. Yeah, because people are going so much faster.
Yeah, I think, everyone's going so much quicker. And I think generally the overall standards just raised massively, especially I'd say over the last 2 or 3 years, really.
Yes. And look at it's a world championship in St. George. You swam 48:14, rode 4:27, ran 2:46, went 8:04, and you're 9th.
Yeah.
Where people, I think, before the race would have said, if you were close to 8 hours, you're going to win this race.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think everyone talked about St. George, and it was a very difficult course. And
yes.
But they always referenced it to 10 years earlier when there was an Ironman St. George, and was like, well, the guys then did this time, and the course was a bit different, but look how hard it was. And it's like sort of comparing oranges and apples. Ironman 70.3, it's a different sport to how it was 10 or 12 years ago.
Right. So ITU racing and transitioning from that to Kona, how hard was that for you?
For me, I would say I naturally did it, but then I sort of look at Christian and think, oh, he makes it look so much easier. But my first Kona, I came 11th.
Right. And
that was my first year moving from ITU. And I thought that was sort of an incredible sort of progression.
Really quick.
And then, but again, I think sort of you look at Christian and see what he's done, and it's just, it's sort of, again, you look at what he's achieved over the last 12, 18 months, and nobody's ever achieved anything like that in our sport.
A gold medal and a Ironman World Championship on you have to say it's a tougher course in Kona, over basically in 10 months.
And you also have to realize he won the World Triathlon Series last year. He was the world champion, and I think it's only Alistair Brownlee in the men's side who's ever been Olympic champion and a world champion.
Right, in the same time. Yeah.
No, in total. Simon Whitfield was never world champion. Jan Frodeno was never world champion.
Yeah.
And Christian did that all in the same year. So he did something in ITU that nobody in ITU has ever done before.
And he won the Ironman.
And then he won the Ironman.
World Championship.
So it's good. I raced Christian here in Edmonton 8 years ago in the ITU, and he was terrible.
Really?
He was so bad. I didn't even know his name. I just I think we started next to each other in the swim. And I think he was okay at swimming, and then the bike he did he attacked. He was always aggressive.
Right.
But he attacked, and he got a gap with Alistair and Ronaldo Colucci.
So he wasn't afraid to go off the front.
No, he's always been courageous, but he was a guy that you'd be like, we can give him 2 or 3 minutes.
We'll catch him down.
And we did. I can't even remember passing him, but I checked the results, and he finished 2 or 3 minutes behind me.
Yeah.
But it's just yeah, every year he's just got better and better, and it's just a credit to a lot of hard work.
Well, it's funny because when I was chatting with Gustav, when you look back at like 2017, 18 time frame, you know, like multiple DNFs and 22nd in these ITU races, 22nd, 24th, and the big change has been just in the last few years where those guys have just gone to another level with their training and obviously their racing.
Yeah, I think there's been a massive shift. I think it's been equally as impressive, if not more so, how they've been able to jump around the distances.
Right.
But now I look at it and there's a lot more guys who are now coming along and just sort of challenging the status quo. Like, I'm 34 now, and you go back, I don't know, even 6 or 7 years ago, and like that would be maybe the average age of like a four-man Ironman start list. Whereas I'm like one of the old people.
Totally, because these guys are, you know, Magnus Ditlev is what, 23, 24 years old?
Yeah, and you got like Sam Laidlaw here who's like 21, 22. The Norwegians are young.
Yes.
Daniel Bakkegaard is like 22, 23.
Yeah.
They're all like children.
And they're doing, now, is the concern getting into Ironman so early that they'll burn out?
I don't know, because I also always compare it to like other endurance sports, and I look at cycling, and cycling's like a much younger person's sport now, and you have like a few older people in cycling, but generally, you know, the guys winning the Tour de France are like 20, 21.
Right.
And I think
you're going to see that in Ironman.
I think you're going to see it's like, hopefully the older people can still be, you know. However, I had breakfast with Sebi this morning, and we spent about 10 minutes just like listing each other's like injuries and problems. And I'm like, I'm sure like the 20 to 21-year-old guys aren't doing this.
Well, I was racing on Saturday, and I'm in the 65 to death category. I'm old. So the guy next to me is jumping up and down. I'm like, what are you doing? He says, I'm getting my pacemaker going.
That's like a whole new, I'm not going to do that.
You and Sebi aren't doing that.
No, for sure.
You're not talking pacemakers yet.
And the thing is, I think I can still get to like the same level, if not better than I was in the past.
Yes.
I just can't do it like week in, week out.
Exactly.
And, like, that's the thing with you even look at like Magnus. He's incredible like 10 months of the year. Yeah. Like Magnus over the last 2 years has just went like this, and it's like every couple of months he just gets better and better. And again, it's really exciting for the sport. Obviously gives me a lot to think about.
Well, and that's the thing is, like you said, the level has gone. These guys are jumping in their first Ironman races, and they're going, 740. They're running 230s off the bike, which is unthinkable. And most importantly, they're not afraid. They're not afraid to go off the front.
They don't have any fear, and you have to realize when I first got into professional Ironman racing, everybody talked about in the Ironman leg you want to be like 4 watts a kilogram, and that's like the gold standard. Like if you want to go to Kona and win it, you swim well, you do 4 watts a kilogram.
Okay.
I held 4 watts a kilogram in St. George, and I was 10 minutes down. Like that's the reality of it. Like when Frederick Van Leerd won Hawaii, he held 4 watts per kilogram. I've talked to him about it.
Right.
He's like, like 4 watts a kilo, and you're right at the front of the race. And that was 2014, I think.
What do you think Christian is doing? I mean, in terms of watts per kilogram.
I don't know. I sat next to him. I sat behind him legally in St. George for the whole sum of like 1 kilometer maybe, and that was just too much for me. I was sitting at like 300 watts, and I was like, nah.
No, I can't do this.
And then you look at Magnus, and it's incredible. It's really, and that's why I say, like, there's no longer any more talk about to be competitive you need 4 watts a kilogram. It's like
that's beginning of the conversation.
You have to stay at the front of the race. Yeah. If you want to win it, you stay at the front of the race. Like,
that's what always impressed me with Magnus. Even when he went to Daytona and blew up, and went to Miami and blew up, he wasn't scared to do that. Where you and I both know there's a lot of guys who are very talented who don't ever go to the front, and they'll come off the bike in 8th or 9th. They'll run their way to 5th or 4th. But they're not winning the race.
That sounds like my Kona strategy.
Yes, exactly.
No, but like it's true. And I think also like Ironman, often like half Ironman's different how you can approach the racing. But you look, and it is exciting. These guys they go to all these races and just like go for it. They smash it. It's just like I did 70.3 Elsinore.
Yes.
I punctured, so it wasn't a great thing.
Okay.
But like,
well, you got the 17th with the
Yeah,
puncture.
it was
Yeah.
But like Daniel was there and Mickey Tagholt.
Yes.
And like, you got out of the water and like just the speed that those boys put down at the start of the bike, it was literally as if they were going out for like a 10-kilometer bike time trial. It was just, it's super impressive what they're doing physically, but also mentally.
Yes.
Like, and I think that's it. I think nobody thinks about just completing an Ironman now or 70.3. It's very much, no, we're racing this as hard as we can from the very start.
Right. Yeah. From the first pedal stroke, they're
Yeah.
going. If we're doing a full Ironman, we want to be as close to 4 hours as possible.
Yeah, and I think it's just, it's moving the sport on. It's making it much more exciting.
Yes.
And obviously I'm trying my best to sort
How do you compete with that?
Well, this is, I try...
More porridge? What the hell?
More porridge? No, this is the thing, like, I look back at my St. George performance, I was proud of it, 9th place in the world, it's good.
Yeah.
But I know, like, for me, it's just very much about doing my best day in, day out to try and, go to Hawaii this year and be in the race fighting for the podium, if not winning.
So you're in, right?
Yeah,
St. George got you in.
Yeah, so I'm qualified,
Yeah.
and it's obviously great to come to Edmonton and race here and,
Right.
Just
get more points and all that stuff.
Get
Get Collins Cup.
Get some more points. Hopefully Collins Cup, but
Yeah.
Team Europe is...
Oh, loaded.
And again, like, now, I think this race is about 4 hours too short for me.
This one.
Yeah, and so is the Collins Cup, to be honest.
Maybe you can pay somebody to lead people the wrong direction.
Maybe.
Lead cyclists.
Maybe, but...
Lead moto.
Yeah, hopefully. That would be a disaster for the race. But no, like, so, yeah, it's just great to be here, and it's great to sort of, do something different.
So, what will the rest of your season be? Obviously, you want to make Collins Cup, but the U.S. Open potentially?
So potentially U.S. Open.
Yep.
Obviously Hawaii.
Yep.
And then after that,
St. George?
I'll see.
It depends on how
I've not qualified for St. George, and to be honest, I think to try and do that 3 weeks after Hawaii.
Brutal.
Like, I've already got like the week's vacation booked after Hawaii anyway, so
Yeah.
No.
How have you had to adapt? Like we're talking about, the speeds are just incredible. These athletes are coming in when they're 21, 22 years old, not afraid of anything, and certainly not afraid of hard training. How do you compete?
It's difficult. I think over Ironman it's easier because it's done at a slow speed. And at one point I did have good speed because I come from the ITU,
right.
but that was 8-9 years ago now.
Yes.
So it's
a while ago. Yeah.
And some of it is like, it's difficult to race against, especially like, look at this weekend, I look at this course and I think, this is perfect from a guy that's just moved up from ITU. Because you've got 3 laps in the swim, and you've got a lot of turning boys, so that's always means a lot of like acceleration, slowing down in the swim, which perfect for ITU guys.
Right, that's what they do all the time.
Yeah, the bike course is 80 kilometers, and it's got a lot of like really hard like 2-minute segments in the bike. Like you just have to ride hard.
Right.
But then you've got a bit of recovery, and again, it's just like an explosive bike course.
Right.
And that's suited to the ITU guys. It's suited to, and then the run will take like 51 minutes.
So do you see this as a ITU person's course?
I think
somebody stepping up from ITU.
Yeah, I think basically the guys that have been racing the ITU the last 2 or 3 years, I like the Norwegians obviously, but I see someone like Kyle Smith.
Yes.
He'll be super strong here. He's got a lot of speed.
He's been trading with Jan, and you understand what that's like.
Yeah, and like he's just naturally got so much speed.
Yes.
I think he was a world junior champion.
Yep.
So somebody like that, who can just go hard, like very hard and very fast, they'll be right at the front of the race. And then, Mikey Tagholt, I think, is racing.
Yes.
I don't know if I say his name right or not, but,
Mickey, yes.
Mickey,
Yes, definitely Mickey. Yeah,
that's good.
He's, I just talked to him a little earlier, and he likes his bike course.
Yeah, so I think these guys will be the guys at the front. Like, I think someone like Lionel, who's an incredible athlete, I think he's just going to... I just can't see this course being for him.
A little too technical on the bike?
I think a bit technical on the bike, but I think also how it is on the bike, just the really hard 2-minute efforts followed by some technical things, followed by recovery on the downhills. Like, he's like... if you gave him like 180 Ks
straight out,
yeah. Like he'd
like
smash
Magnus.
it. Yeah, he'd smash it.
Yeah.
So I think with him, especially the swim, I think it's going to be non-wetsuit now, they say.
Yeah.
And I think the swim will create big gaps. I think people don't realise how difficult it is to go around that amount of buoys. And it's 3 laps in the swim.
Yeah, and you're getting in and out of the water.
Yeah, you get out in the water, the heart rate will spike massively. And then every single turn buoy, you slow down a little bit. And then afterwards, there's a massive acceleration. And if you're not a very good swimmer, that hurts a lot.
So when you look back on your career, and obviously you've had a long career, you ITU and a couple of third places in Kona and some wins. How do you look back at your career? You happy with that, how you've performed in the sport?
Yeah, I think so. I'd have obviously loved to have won Hawaii. I think, I'll be honest, I still think I have like 2, possibly 3 more attempts at it.
Yeah.
Where I think I can still go there and fight for the win.
No question.
But yeah, I look back and I think in general, I've tried my best. I think the biggest thing that I wish I could go back is like, when you're younger, you do all these races and sometimes you have great results, but you don't really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Like, I was second at World Under-23 Championships.
Yep.
Like 14 years ago now.
Oh my God.
But I remember like finishing that race and like, I was happy enough, but I was more than disappointed that like I didn't win it.
Right.
And like and I look back at that now and I'm like, I wish I could have taken a moment to appreciate it at the time.
Yeah.
And yeah, like just sort of these moments that sort of you learn sort of later on in your career is that I think as athletes we're always too critical about our own performances.
Yeah.
Like this is it, and like, yeah, I've had some great races over the years, and like, I think it wasn't until, I think probably the second time Hawaii that I came third, that like, I actually relaxed and appreciated just the moment.
When you came down to let you drive.
Yeah.
Just taking it in a little bit.
Yeah, and I think 2017 I sort of did, but I was a bit more shell-shocked at the time.
Yeah.
But no, like, again, yeah, I think that sort of overall, I think ultimately all you can do in this sort of sport or in life is to do your best. Like we all have different strengths and weaknesses. We all have good days and bad days. But I think what I'm more proud of is that I've done my best at the time. And I've kept on going. Even though I've had setbacks, I've kept on going and going. And that's when I know when I do retire that I won't leave with any regrets. Like, even if I don't get that elusive world title that I've always wanted. Right. Like, I've got second under 23 twice, third in Hawaii. I won't leave with any regrets because I know actually at that moment in time I did everything I could.
Yeah, no question about it.
Yeah. And it always like come when you do so much to be the best in the world, you make other sacrifices in life.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, that's elite sport, and yeah, I'm at the point where I'm not scared to leave the sport. I look forward to sort of doing the other stuff in life when I retire, and yeah. But overall, like I still love this sport, you know. I bumped into Simon Whitfield twice today, and I was like, I'm probably one of the few guys that are here that actually know who you are and who actually raced against you.
Wow.
Because like I see the young kids just like walking by him like, who's
like
this
he's
guy?
just who's this old guy?
I'm like, Simon
Simon
Whitfield,
first ever Olympic gold medalist.
Simon, and he knew my name.
So do you think because, you know, during COVID when we couldn't race, you're more appreciative of the fact that, hey, I can come to Canada and go race and there's $1 million on the line, because for a couple of years you couldn't do any of that? Yeah,
I think so. I think it was strange to sort of like not be traveling.
I know.
And like after I've traveled for so many years, I thought I'd got to the point where I was like fed up of traveling, and then all of a sudden you don't travel anywhere, you just stay in your house for like months on end, and you realize that sort of actually the traveling and seeing different countries and being able to compete on different courses it's a really great thing about this sport. And yeah, like it's strange to be back in Edmonton after so long, because I raced the ITU here like 8 years ago, but yeah, it's going to be a great race on Saturday, and I think it's going to be exciting. It's just different race format than most of us have ever raced before.
Yeah. Well, and the 20-meter draft rule will make a difference too.
Yeah, I don't know. I think so. I think it makes a big difference. It's great to see, and I say that. Let's be honest. I'm not the strongest cyclist.
Right.
But I love fair racing, and for me, 20 meters is a lot fairer.
Oh yeah, no question.
So this is it. People always think it's weird when the weak cyclist says, "I want 20 meters," but that's the truth. It's
yeah. When you look at, because you know what it took to go from short distance to long distance. When you hear Christian and Gustav say, "Okay, so as soon as we're done with Kona, we'll jump into Bermuda, we'll jump into Dubai, and we won't." I'll do 7.3 Worlds, but I'm not going to do another Ironman. I'm going to get ready for Paris. Going from long to short is, to me, it's a natural progression to go from short to long.
Yeah.
To go back to that has to be tough.
Yeah, I think Gustav did Leeds this year, and he came last. And I think that's the reality of it. I think, as we've talked about, I fully respect I understand how incredible it is, having raced both the formats, what those guys are doing.
Yep.
But I think I agree, it's so much tougher going from Iron. I saw with Chris McCormack.
Yeah.
I saw with Javier when he went back, Alistair. And Alistair and Javier,
they were the best.
They were the best. They were better than Christian. I'm sorry, I've raced them both at ITU. Obviously, Christian wasn't the best at the time.
That time.
But, I still train with Vincent Louis, Yelly Jens, Martin Van Ryle, who are the guys at ITU, and they're incredible athletes, but I know Alistair and Javier on their day would have beat them.
Right, back in the day.
And these guys struggle to go back to ITU having done Ironman. And I raced Chris McCormack when he came back to try and race ITU.
I remember he thought that he, trying to make the Olympics. It was 2012?
Yeah, 2012, yeah.
We were in San Diego. They had an ITU race.
Yeah, I raced there. I raced there.
Macca ran 30 minutes, 31 maybe.
Yeah, 30, I think he ran like 31 or something
ran
like that.
31 and was 50th?
Yeah. I remember that race because I think I had like a 10-man sprint for like 15th place.
Yeah. And so everybody in the field was sub 31.
Well, this is it. And
that was then, and it's faster now.
I think the running's a bit slow now.
Do you?
Still...
Alex and those guys?
The thing is, now you have the super shoes.
Right.
But Alistair won the Olympics in 2012 running a 29:06 off the bike, and he jogged the last bit. Nobody's
scary.
Ever delivered a performance like that.
Yeah.
Not Alex, not Hayden Wild, not Christian.
Yeah.
Javier was 15, 20 seconds behind them.
Yeah.
That's still the two best performances ever in ITU. And I know this because I've loved ITU for the last 20 odd years.
Yeah.
And I've trained and raced with everyone.
Exactly.
So
that's going to be
see
interesting
Christian and Gustav going. I think we'll see Gustav in Hawaii next year. I think Gustav will go back and realize, no, let's get back to the PTO races. Let's get back to Hawaii. Christian, because he's defending Olympic champion, will want to be in Paris.
Right. Yeah. Very fun. David, I always learn so much every time we chat.
Thank you.
It's always so much fun, man.
Nobody ever learns anything from me.
We all learn stuff from you.
Thank you.
David McNamee has been our guest. Good luck on Sunday.
Thank you very much.
David McNamee has been our guest again. Breakfast with Bob from beautiful Edmonton, Canada. Hold on. We will be right back.